Hi, welcome back to my channel. To our channel. Thank you so much for all my subscribers for supporting me and for trusting in me. Okay, so in this vlog is I will be explaining to you another subject entitled The Science, Technology and Society. So this is called the STS. Okay, so I'll be explaining that to you. So this is our first lesson in the subject of science, technology, and society. So before I'll start, I would like to say thank you. Thank you so much for all your support and for trusting in me. Okay, for our lesson one is I'll be discussing to you intellectual revolutions that define society. Okay, so this subject is very new to me, but I will try to explain this to you in a very simple way, and I hope that you will get something out of my discussion. Okay, so will give light to the development of science and scientific studies in the heart of the society. Okay, so we will try to explain the influence of science into the development of our society. Okay, so what is science? So there are a lot of definitions that would clearly tell us what is the real meaning of science. Okay, so science is as old as the world. Science is always there. But there is no individual that can exactly tell when or where science began. Okay, so let's try to see what are the definitions of science. Okay, so science, the first definition is this: science as an idea. Why is it called an idea? Because science, it includes ideas, a lot of theories, and a lot of systematic explanation and observation about the natural and physical world. So when you talk about science, it deals about a lot of theoretical framework, a lot of theories that would tell us or that would explain to us the idea about our existence, the idea about our natural and physical world. And that is science. Okay? Number two definition is science as an intellectual activity. Why it is intellect? To dig the deeper meaning of something. It is the also be dealing about experimentation, about all the things that you have observed in our physical world, and that is science. It deals about our intellectual activity because of our curiosity, we can we can do something about it. That is why science is also considered an intellectual activity. Okay, the third definition of science is science as a body of knowledge. Why it is considered as the body of knowledge? Because it deals with the learning, with the process of learning. It is a body of knowledge because it deals with the process of learning about the natural and physical world. Because when you talk about science, when you want to learn something, when you want to understand things, it is called science. And for me, science is very important because that is the start when you try to do experiment, when you try to acknowledge the importance of things. Therefore, we are also embracing the idea of science. That is why it is considered as a body of knowledge. The fourth one, science as a personal and social activity. Why it is so? Because science, it is a means to improve life and to survive in life. Because as what you can see when you talk about science, because of science, we try to transform our lives into the society. Because of science, there are a lot of changes in our physical world. That's why science talks about social activity. Because of our curiosity, because of our interaction with the physical world, there are a lot of improvements, a lot of changes that is happening around us. Science is very significant, especially for us human beings. And we can't deny the fact that science really helps us in improving our lives to be better. We are so curious about what to do next, what are your plans, what are the next plan of our generation. And that's how science really evolved. Take note, because of our curiosity, because of our persistently observing something, That is how we find meanings. That is where we find answers from a lot of questions. That's why science is very significant for human beings, because without science, we cannot improve something. We can't do something to improve our lives. And that's how science really evolved in the life of human beings. Okay, so because we try to seek meaning, because we try to answer a lot of questions, that is the time there is the idea of scientific revolution. So take note, scientific revolution was the period of enlightenment, where the development transformed the views of society. So when you talk about scientific revolution, we are trying to evolve ourselves. And that is the time of period of enlightenment. Why? Because we are trying to change something. We are trying to evolve from our previous life to now. We are trying to do something out of our curiosity, and that is scientific revolution. That is why we are here now. We are currently embarking the idea of scientific revolution. Okay, so because of this idea, because of scientific revolution, people, we as human beings, we try to reflect, we try to rethink and to re-examine our own belief and our way of life. So because of our scientific revolution, we are able to think, to re-examine, to rethink, to reflect about our own lives. Are we doing something good? Or can we still do something more? And that is the idea of scientific revolution. That's why people are changing, our way of life are changing, the way we do things are also changing because of scientific revolution. Science, until now, science is very significant for human beings because we need to evolve, we need to change from our current life to the future. So we need to be adaptable, we need to be flexible, and that is part of science. That is scientific revolution. Okay, scientific revolution is very significant. Why it is significant? Because it is the development of human beings. If there is no scientific revolution, how can we develop as a person? How can we transform our society? And how can we come up with our scientific ideas? Right? So, naatoy sa YouTube mga students no that naa sila thesis nga gibuhat nga makabasa sila, makaread sila kung unsa ilang through sign language no, nalang movement. So that is scientific revolution. There are a lot of scientific revolution nga atong na-discover karon that it can really help us to the future. That can really help us to become better. That can really help us to do something more for ourselves. And that is the idea of scientific revolution. Okay, so take note, because of its improvement and because of our curiosity, because of experimentation, scientific revolution transformed the natural world and the world of ideas. Right? If there is no scientific revolution, if there is no change on the way we think, on the way how we do things, how we reflect on the things that we do, life is just stagnant. The way we understand things is just very stagnant if there is no scientific revolution. Okay, so we need to transform our natural world and the world of ideas, especially for the young generation. Karon, there are a lot of brilliant students, there are a lot of brilliant minds that really need to we really need to maximize their learning potential, because if we will support them, it can really help us to become better as a community, as part of the society. So we need to embark the idea of scientific revolution. Okay? So to further understand what exactly happened during the scientific revolution, it is important to examine the different individuals whose ideas have shaken and dominant theories or ideas during this period. So if you want to understand the idea of scientific revolution, how it started, who started it, okay, let's try to examine the different individuals who contributed much more on the idea of scientific revolution. Okay, so scientists are driven by their own curiosity. Because of their curiosity, a lot of scientists are trying to think deeper. They are trying to think more. They are trying to think beyond on the things that we think. Okay? They are so they are so critical. They are critical thinkers, right? And because of their curiosity and their love for science, their passion to know and to discover things contributed to what we are doing now. So that's why we need to have an eagerness to know and to discover, to be better, to be a better community, to be a better person, and to contributed ourselves as part of the society. Okay, so in this part of lesson, let's try to see three notable scientists that have contributed or shaken the idea of scientific revolution. So the first person is Nicolaus Copernicus. Okay, so what is his idea? So let's have a quick background about him. He did not do anything extensive such as observing heavenly bodies or writing people to test his ideas. His ideas was more into thought experiments. It's all about his thought. It's all about trying to understand the way we think. Okay, so in his book, he published a book and he wanted a model of the universe in which everything moved around a single center at unvarying rates. So what does it mean? The idea of Copernicus stated that the sun is the centerpiece of the universe. So that is his thought. So according to him, the sun is the centerpiece of the universe. And the sun is surrounded by the earth and all the planets. Okay, it all started from his thought. Copernicus placed the sun to be the centerpiece of the universe. So according to him, the sun is the centerpiece of the universe. And the sun is surrounded by the earth and all the planets. And his idea and his model tries to see the length of time it will take for each planet to orbit around the sun. So that is how his thought experiment started. Why? A lot of scientists are trying to explain the idea of Copernicus model. That's why a lot of them may disagree, or some will agree or not agree with his thought. Okay, so that is where scientific revolution started with Nicolaus Copernicus. It all started with his thought experiment. Okay, so the second person is Charles Darwin. So Charles Darwin is famous for his theory of evolution, and I think you're all familiar with Charles Darwin, the evolution of man, that we all came from ape. Okay, so he changed our concept of the world's creation and its evolution. Right? So as what you can see, Darwin as a genius who came from a line of intellectually gifted and wealthy family. So Darwin published his book, The Origin of Species. And his book is one of the most important works in scientific literature. Okay, so his book presented evidence on how species would evolve over time and presented traits and this adaptation that differentiate species. So what does it mean by Darwin? That people, we are evolving over time. We are changing over time. And we have certain traits of adaptation. We are capable to adapt. We are capable to make adjustment. As humans, we are capable to make some adjustment. Okay, so Darwin's observational skills as a scientist were extraordinary because he tries to explain things. He tries to dig deeper, that move beyond the realms of plants and animals into the realms of humans. So it is extraordinary because instead of focusing only to the evolution of plants and animals, Darwin also focused on he goes up to the realms of humans, the evolution of man. Okay, that's why it is considered as extraordinary skills because of his observational skills. Right? He was able to move beyond the realms of plants and animals into the realms of humans. Okay, so his book is The Descent of Man was so impressive. It was so impressive but yet controversial. It is controversial because as humans, we can't accept that we came from ape. So that's why it is a lot of things should be discussed before accepting that one. Okay, so he introduced the idea of all organic life, including us, including human beings. He explained our evolution, okay, as human beings. So under the realm of evolutionary thinking. Okay, so as humans, we are evolving. And as far as I can remember, Charles Darwin also stated that man came from ape. And a lot of religious individuals cannot accept the fact that we came from ape. It is because as human being, we only accept that humans are created in the image and likeness of God. That's how scientific revolution started with Charles Darwin. Okay, so the third person that shaken the idea of scientific revolution is Sigmund Freud. Okay, so who is Sigmund Freud? I really love Sigmund Freud, right? Okay, so Freud is a famous figure in the field of psychology. Freud also made a significant contribution in the scientific world through the development of an important observational method to gather reliable data to study humans' inner life. Taas ay. Okay, Freud's idea talks about psychoanalysis. He is very famous because he made a greater contribution in the study of human behavior, in the study of humans' inner life. And his method is commonly known as the method of psychoanalysis. He is the father of psychoanalytic theory. He focused more on our inner life, humans' inner. Freud, the method of psychoanalysis is a scientific way to study the human mind and neurotic illness. He is more into understanding how we think, how we behave. So despite academic controversy, his method of psychoanalysis had made a great impact in the scientific way of understanding human nature. Okay, so despite of academic controversy, a lot of questioning, a lot of debate, based on his idea, is his idea really contributed much in the scientific way of understanding human nature. So as what you can see, Freud is not just a traditional thinker. His method was unorthodox. He focuses more on human sexuality and the evil nature of man. That is how Sigmund Freud thinks. He is not just a follower. He is not a traditional thinker. He tries to see on our human sexuality and the evil nature of man. So, to some people, they found his idea not easy, especially in his explanation of human sexuality. But take note, the fact remains that the Freudian ideas and theories are still considered as a great inspiration to examine human mind and behavior in a more scientifically accepted way. Okay, so that is the idea of Sigmund Freud, despite the academic controversy, but we can't deny the fact that his idea had made a great impact in the study of human mind, in the study of human behavior, in trying to explain how people are behaving that way, because he tried to focus on the human sexuality and the evil nature of man. Okay, so thank you so much for listening and for watching this video till the end. I hope you are learning from this video. So just a quick recap. This vlog focuses more on the intellectual revolutions that define society. So take note, because of scientific revolution, we were able to to change our lives to be better. We were able to adapt to a certain situation. We were able to question things. We were able to embrace new ideas. We were able to assess if what we are doing is still good or not for us. That is because of scientific revolution, and that's how it influences the way we deal with our society. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you are learning from this video. So this is our lesson 1 in the subject of science, technology, and society. So I hope you are learning from it, and explaining my lesson 2 in this vlog. So I hope you will subscribe or like to my channel if you